Hi, beautiful people. My name is Robyn Roots. I'm a nurse by day and a film producer by night. Welcome to Nurse Narratives. What's your narrative? I'm so excited. This is the second show, and we're back just to follow up a little bit about me before we really dive into all the great nursing stories that are out there and just kind of touch on a little bit about me. I know you heard nurse by day, film producer by night. You're probably like, what? Yes, I am a nurse over 30 years and in the film industry as well. And it's so exciting because you never know what the nurses are going to do with all of the skills and talents that they've learned. So I'm excited just to dive a little deeper this week into a little bit about me. And as we go along throughout this journey with our nurse narratives, you'll learn more and more about me because trust me, I got a lot of layers to me. Good layers, of course, but a lot of layers. So stay tuned, sit back, go get your snack, go get your tea, a little something to relax you. And let's talk a little bit. What's your narrative? I'm back. And I just wanted to share there are so many challenges and different paths we take and things in life that guide us different directions. You think you know where you're going. As a young lady, I shared last week about me being a unwed teen mother in nursing and how it changed the trajectory of my life. And now that I look back on Tampa growing up there, and then actually I just came back from visiting home. I was in Tampa, Florida for a couple of days and also in Orlando to see my mom and all my close friends. And I tell you, this was one of the first times in so many years that I felt like that's where I needed to be. So as a nurse entrepreneur as well, you think about those things and how can you impact that community that I grew up in. So I'm working on a few things now, so stay tuned for that. But I just wanted to kind of talk about when you're in another state, you grow up somewhere else and then you decide to go to college, move away. It's scary, very scary. But what I can tell you is it's the best thing I ever did because when you're challenged to step outside of your comfort zone, take, so they speak, the quantum leap. I want to talk about that because I just started reading this book, Y Squared, and it is an amazing book, very short read, very small book, and it has blessed me with so many challenges and things that I've decided to do. It was like a leap of faith. I didn't know where I was going. I didn't know how it was going to turn out, but I knew I had to go. I don't know, as a nurse, have you ever felt that way? Like I need to be doing something different. Then you get into nursing. Then you say, I need to be doing more. And you start getting into advocacy, the political part of nursing, just all those awesome things. And that's what I really enjoy about nursing is that I've been involved in so many committees. I've led a lot of committees and I spoke at a lot of important events with legislation and different policies for kidney disease. And so as a nurse, we get to do some amazing things that really change the platform of nursing. And so that's what I really want to share, that even though I've been a nurse in my specialty renal dialysis, I've done some teaching, I've done some traveling, I've done so many things. So nursing is not one of those professions that's a box. You can work in pediatrics, you can get in geriatrics, you can get in orthopedics. Sooner or later, you'll find where you fit in, or you might be someone that just like variety. I've known nurses that was in spinal cord, then they was in ICU, then they ended up in the OR, finishing off their career there. So a lot of times we'll say, I wish I could work in OR, but with each specialty, there's challenges. They do a lot of standing. They're not really very interactive with their patient because their patient is going to be sedated. Whereas if you're in ICU, your patients may not do any walking and they might be sedated. So you have to be, to me, like a self-starter. You have to really understand a whole lot of mechanical things. But when you're like in long-term care, you have a lot more interaction with the patient. You get to see outcomes more so because you're around them a long time as they're, aging and going through different procedures and different rehab, so you get to see outcomes, whereas in the OR you just meet that person for that moment and then they're going back to the floor. So it just depends on what kind of nursing you think you what fits in with you, because some people are social butterflies and some people are not. And I used to always laugh about stuff like that. I could tell what kind of nurse someone was based on their personality, because I've been around nurses and they're like, I could never work around you. You talk too much. You know, they are in ICU. And they used to have this saying, no walking, no talking. And I was like, what does that mean? And it took me a long time because they wouldn't tell me. And so they're not used to their patients walking and talking. So when they're around patients' care that requires a lot of interaction, you know, they're more methodical type nurses, technical. So we went through a phase of nursing shortage where people were floated to different areas, and that's when those conversations came about. So it's just really interesting. Nursing is that place where you get to explore different specialties, try out your skill sets, and see what you like. So, what's your narrative? Tell us a little bit about your narrative in nursing, because all of us have stories. What's your narrative? As I share the different narratives in my nursing career, we've all had some ups and downs in our nursing career, but as we know, there is a passion in us that causes us to stay. You know, we have a lot of patients that recover and we have patients that pass away. But it's something about the specialty of nursing that is from the heart to me that keeps us coming back to nursing. So I'm excited to really look back at my life, at the successes I've had with patients, to see them really do well, and you know, go back into society and then run into them at the mall or something. It is just the greatest feeling ever. And then there are times where our patients are so critically sick that we have to, you know, be with the family during that transitional time. And during that time, it's just wonderful to really spend time with the families and get to know that person from a different perspective. Because remember, when patients come to the hospital, most of the time they're very stressed, they're sick, so we don't really get to see them in their fullness, in their joyful self, as I say. So to see them later in the mall or at a concert or just out and about, it is the greatest feeling, because you know you had a hand in them getting better and being able to enjoy life fully. So I think that's so important that we look back at our career, or in the career field we're in now, if you're a new nurse or still actively nursing, and look at the wins. I know sometimes we get into the political piece of nursing, but stay focused. The patient is always first. And long as you keep that at the forefront, no matter what's going on politically about the healthcare field, you will enjoy what you're doing. And saying that, I'm so grateful for all of the great leaders that I've worked with, for all of the new nurses and nurse colleagues that I've worked with, and all of my physicians. Oh my God, and my fellows and NPs and PAs, because I've learned from everybody. And also I had an opportunity to pour into them as well, because I've always had a passion for education. So I've always been the one that's teaching, always sharing something new. And then when something goes bad, they're calling, okay, Robyn, we need to figure out what happened, you know, the root cause analysis, and what could we have done differently as a team, and what are some things we need to put in place so it doesn't happen again. So that's so important to me, to be a part of the solution as well, because in leadership and in management roles, you know, I love for my employees to talk with me and share with me how they feel, but I always want them to come with a better way. Don't come to me and complain that so and so is always late, or they're not helpful in this aspect of what's going on the floor. Get to know the person, or if you know them, what do you think is a barrier for them? Because sometimes they're not moving as fast as they used to. Their vision might be failing them, and so certain tasks are going to take them longer because they're going to be extra careful. And so, in saying that and identifying that, we might move them into a different position, not get rid of them, not fire people. I'm not about that, but people can be used in various ways. And so, sometimes, as a nurse, you have great workers, but their productivity might be declining, and you need to kind of look at those things. So, throughout my career, I'm grateful for great leaders, great mentorship. Oh my God. In this world today, we talk about mentorship and coaching, but great mentorship is you cannot even put a price tag on that. I've had mentors that have helped me along my nursing career, even when I didn't know I needed help. They're like, "Hey, you need to apply for this position," and I'm like, "No, I'm happy right here." And they're like, no, I think you need to, push yourself. You can do this job and you can do it better than the person that's doing it. And I'm like, let me see. And so with that, I'm always laughing because I've learned that when people bring opportunities to me, they already see me in that opportunity. And then I start to evaluate it. And then if I say, oh, I can do that, but I'm not doing it forever. That's what I tell them all the time. I'm not promising how long I'm going to be here or how long I'm going to be doing this, but you will know I was here when I'm gone. And that's been my motto in every position that I have had. And I could go back to those positions now, to the jobs, to the companies, and they'll show me we still using this policy. We still doing this that you taught us. We still doing that. So that's important when you're leaving your mark in this world of nursing, to be able to go back and see your footprints there. Even in my high school back home, the same thing. I was an athlete. It's so many things I can go back and look at and see that I did leave a mark there. So as you go along this nursing journey, look at all the things that you've done and the marks that you've left. We're not even talking about money. We're talking about just impact, changes. In this dialysis community, I've been fortunate enough to work with the new Next Stage machine, cold machine, C3, just all kind of dialysis equipment, and be a part of learning how to work on it, helping create processes so the machines can get worked on, just identifying it's time for us to have techs that fix the machines because we're too busy doing nursing. We can't fix the machine and nurse the patient. And so, yeah, I'm a little old. I've been there a long time. So I've seen when we didn't have all of the technology we have now. But at the end of the day, the human touch is always the best thing. I know we got robots rolling all around these hospitals, but it's nothing like holding someone's hand, giving them a hug, and just looking into their eyes and just listening to what they have to say. Because being in the hospital is not a picnic. They didn't come there to party. They came there to get better so that they can have a better quality of life. So at the end of the day, what you're doing as a nurse and in the medical field, it matters so much. And being in the medical field for so long, I appreciate all the new nurses that are coming out, all of the nurses that are going back, getting their MPs, because they're like, I got to do more. And just all of the nurses that are specializing, getting into politics, creating all these committees. I am just your biggest cheerleader because I know this is the best profession ever. And as I talk about that, let me finish up today by talking about my transition to film. It's such a marriage of nursing and film. That's why I decided to get into film so that I can share some of our stories. And I'm so excited about my project, 2020 Year of the Nurse. It's not the only film I've made, but it's one of my babies. God put that in my spirit during COVID. So if you get a chance, go to 2020 Year of the Nurse on social media platforms. And also look on YouTube for 2020 Year of the Nurse under Robyn Roots and 2020 Year of the Nurse song featuring Trey Chaney. And I'm going to tell you, it's going to bless your socks off because if you are in a medical field, you're going to really relate to the trailer and also the music. It's going to resonate in your spirit. And you can leave me a comment, but please subscribe to the YouTube page. Please look at the trailer. And if you're interested in sponsoring a screening, please hit the links below. Communicate with me because I really want to hear your comments. I will be having nurses on the show as well because I want to hear your narrative. I want to hear your narrative. African American nurses, we have been through so many things for centuries, but I am so proud of all of the progress that we have made and the progress that we are making. I'm actually on my way today to a Martin Luther King event to share a short film I did on nursing history and also to meet some very influential people in the healthcare field just to talk about nursing and also the film. So when I come back next week, I can give you guys an update on it, but I'm getting ready to hit the highway now because that's what a nurse by day, filmmaker by night, and a nursepreneur does. I'm making sure that we're never forgotten as nurses because we are the backbone of healthcare. Yes, I said it. I'm going to say it one more time. We are the backbone of the healthcare field. Without nurses, they couldn't even open the door. So I'm so glad to talk with you guys for the second show of Nurse Narrative. I am just excited about what's to come next week. We will be diving into some other crucial topics as well. So stay tuned. And what's your narrative?